So let's take a little breath and jump into a little max vibe session and vibe here. So this first piece, actually, I'm just holding what I sense, feel, and see, which is a little bit of a tone like this. So I'm just getting a stable energy here, a little bounce with it to kind of let everything rock into place. And then I'm just going to start swaying. It feels like a hip movement. It's a back and forth. It's a claiming tone of this is my energy field. So kind of move it a little bit. I've got almost what feels like a swim stroke going on. Try that if you're sitting. And just let a little, like I mentioned yesterday at one point in one of our sessions, it said get some air between under your wings. So that's my flow right there. Okay, just saw a big Cadillac. So let's pull the car up in our mind's eye. It feels a little older school. We're just getting in the back seat and we're going to ride for a minute. Weird, but mine was like white with red interior, but okay, whatever. That sounds a little disco or 70s, doesn't it? We're just going to ride a little bit. And it's like we've just pulled up to an intensive care unit. Interesting turn of events. And what we're going to do in our mind's eye is we're just going to vibe a little bit. Because we are in a daily vibe practice, learning how to use intention to build energy, thereby affecting our set point and what law of attraction gives us. We know there's humans on the front lines right now, guys. We want to, first of all, put an acknowledgement there. That's what we're going to do in our mind's eye. This is an appreciation tone, a thank you tone. And we're just kind of holding on to this essence or this intention as we spread love. And then my arms come together in that kind of prayer posture or that appreciation tone, little bounce to it. Feels like it's holding some space here. Did I have too much coffee? I'm sorry if I'm talking so fast. Bouncing through. Elbows together, back up and out. And then we're going to do, on the silliest vibe plane we can find, a little bit of our energy magic. We're going to take the tone of well-being, which links to love, which is sort of that source-based energy, whole tones. And it's like we're going to blanket that intensive care unit. We're just choosing to put some energy there because we can, because we want to, because it's paying it forward, because it's love. If you have an impulse to truly go to a place and volunteer or do something, I don't want to talk you out of anything like that. Please check with whatever's viable in your area. But my message is, let's do some intention too. Let's do some visualization. Let's do some vibing. That original kind of arm up, back down keeps coming in. Symbolism of solidarity, oneness, linkage there. I'm going to breathe yellow right in here. Nice couple breaths. Last night when I was working layers in my mind, I've shared before, I go through my 7 vibe guides, which are easy to peek on the website if you need a refresher. And I was working on them, and it was like I was at an impasse with myself. It was like the who am I, which is my human structure, my form, etc. My what am I, my spiritual side, those frequencies of non-physical. It was like they were bouncing against each other and not as blended as I wanted. So I went through, which is my favorite thing to do, sort of the asking process of higher self. What would link me better? What would merge me better? What would help me vibe the way I want to feel and catch that tone of clarity that is my treasure in my relationship with self? And it was really the now energy, which is our number 3. So it's like 1 and 2 had to go into the 3. I'm going to paint this. Follow me here. This is a little different. But it was like I saw got our 7, right? So as if we're using our past here, Our now is our now, and then our future on the right. We've talked about that a little bit before. Just visualize it. Past, now, future. It was as if energy showed me that the who and the what, so my body and my spirit energy, were almost in the past. And I believe that to be because my focus, it kind of got a little spun. I would be amazed if anyone didn't get a little spun the last few days. And if you didn't, awesome. If you did, I felt you too. So it was like these two sides of the coin were then being brought. They aren't sides of the coin. Let me re-say that. Two vibe elements were being brought into the now, and I could see it. And it was like it locked in. And it was like, no more telling stories you don't want. No more linking up to probabilities that don't feel good. And it was like I guess you'd say on the spring element of it, almost like a rebirth energy, where I could sense that if I didn't bring those characteristics of me back into the now, that they were worthless. They were old thought forms. When people talk about connecting with ghosts, even, this is what they're catching. Older layers of self that don't have the inspired or linked up now blended consciousness energy in them. It's like they're just old energy. And so I was holding on to and had created some man-made fears that were disallowing me from getting front and center with myself. So I feel reconnected. I hope you can too. And just using that visual, if you need any help in there, of just bringing everything into the now, which then brings up the where, everywhere, why, joy, how, one, and because I vibe so. And there's your energetic choice. I chose love. But it was like they were on a spectrum, and the future frequencies, that's kind of the fun stuff, isn't it? When you start to get to create, those things were pushed off to the side, those were off to the side, but then to bring them all back into center with focus is where I was led, and I want to make sure you're feeling an opportunity to jump into that today as well. Okay, let's clean slate, visualize it, and go back in. We're going to use an orange tone. There's a cadence here, a little rhythm. You can see my hand moving. And it is linking to infinity in this layer too. And it's like I want you to put a hat on your head with this tone of orange infinite energy. And we're letting it just absorb into your body and your mind. Orange to me is kind of that symbolic color of the non-physical, but in this essence, it's a allowing, when I tap into it, allowing of caution, like a caution sign, allowing of caution, but with a stable foundation. When you allow yourself to have caution, but you have nothing underneath you to stand on in the energy world or the physical world, that's when everything goes awry. So we're allowing caution, mindfulness, proactive vibes without completely falling on the ground. In comes gesture of no fear. We're just going to sync up with that a little bit. And that starts to switch, fade, release. And the smoothness element is next. Things don't have to drag or snag on each other. They can be smooth. And that's what we're in. We're vibing right now. We're creating smoothness, ease. When we catch a vibe or a tone and we give it a little attention, we build it in our energy field. And then we'll start getting, maybe strawberries or linkages with it. Okay, let's take an earth element now. I had an amazing nature experience this morning by hearing birds chirping. Not really even just chirping, but there was song, there was organization, there was hellos, there were welcome homes, there were all these different layers I could kind of pull through the bird language. And it was, again, a link to promise of spring. So if, as a vibe tribe, we can choose and kind of commit to that beautiful symbolic spring color on this St. Patrick's Day. And give up some control to nature. And let birds and sky and song just inch us forward. I just saw an inchworm, which is a strawberry for me. I've had worm energy for maybe a year and a half on a layer. Gives me great confidence and great trust in the dance of well-being. Excellent.